question you can think of. Any question at all. Go ahead, think of a question. Make sure it's a really hard one, like why is the sky blue, or how do I make my big brother disappear? Yes, you. What's your question? Have you got it? If you don't ask it, I'm going to have to ask someone else for a question. You forgot. Oh dear. That's okay. We all forget things sometimes. What about you? Do I have a big brother? That's a very good question. I think that question deserves one of my finest answers. Let's see. Do I have a big brother? And the answer is E equals MC squared. I think that is one of the finest answers I have ever given to a question. I keep all my best answers in here. That's where I go for all the hard questions. Now, if you'd asked me an easy question, I'd have gotten the answer from over here. If, for example, you had said, what should I have for dinner tonight? I would have told you, boxer shorts. I'll save that one for later. Oh, and you can put your hands down now. I'm done taking questions because you know what? Lily's going to be home from school any minute now.
This is so unfair.
Yes, she is now.
I can't believe it. Of all the stupid books to assign.
Ta-da!
I'm not going to do it. I'm not. And they can't make me.
You want to play a game? How about a game?
I don't care how long Mom makes me stay up here. I am not reading this book.
What about Chinese checkers? Parcheesi? What about shoots and ladders?
Are you still here?
Of course. Where else would I be?
Gone. I thought I told you I didn't want you hanging around anymore. I'm too grown up to have an imaginary friend. So pack up your imaginary stuff in your imaginary bag and catch the imaginary bus out of here.
Well, I prefer the train.
Whatever.
Are you still mad about that time I came to school with you? I told you I was sorry for getting you in trouble. I even wrote home on the back bumper of the bus. You wouldn't let me ride inside, would you?
That's because you were making farting noises and I kept getting blamed for it.
Can I help it if your bus driver doesn't have a sense of humor?
I just don't want you hanging around anymore. Everybody made fun of me when they found out about you. Billy Davis says that imaginary friends are for babies. I'm in the 3rd grade now, and 3rd graders don't have imaginary friends.
Says who?
Everybody. Imaginary stuff is stupid. Like this stupid book I have to read. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Why do you think the book is stupid?
It's just stupid. I mean, so what if Alice grows to be 9 feet tall and hits her head on the ceiling? No reason to cry about it. And the Queen of Hearts. Who'd be afraid of her? It's not like she really cuts off anybody's head or anything. I just think Alice is a dumbbell.
Well, you might think differently if you were in her shoes. You might not like it if you were lost in Wonderland and you found yourself at a mad tea party. What if the Queen of Hearts shouted, "Look with her head!" at you?
Well, I guess we'll never know, will I? Especially since all that stuff can never really happen because it's just a book.
Sure it can happen. If you use your imagination.
Imagining things is for babies.
Oh, I see. You're scared to do it. Well, that's all right. You probably shouldn't try it.
I'm not scared.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, then. How does the story start?
Well, it's really boring. Alice is sitting watching her sister read a book. What are you doing?
I'm getting into character. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're very near to where I come in.
When suddenly a white rabbit appeared out of nowhere. He pulled a watch from his waistcoat pocket and said,
Oh dear! Oh dear! I shall be too late!
Right.
And then she ran across the field after him, just in time to see him go down a rabbit hole under a hedge. Oh dear! Oh! Well, come on! Catch me if you can! Oh! Oh dear! I'm going to be late!
You can't switch directions! Hurry!
Oh dear! Now the rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel, and then it dropped down suddenly. So suddenly, Alice didn't have time to stop herself, and soon she found herself falling down what appeared to be a very deep well.
4, that means I've fallen nearly 4,000 miles.
That's a very good fall.
Thank you.
When suddenly, thump, thump,
Oh,
Alice came down on a pile of sticks and dry leaves, and her fall was over.
whoa.
But Alice wasn't hurt a bit, and she jumped up right away. She looked up, but it was dark overhead. She looked all around and found that she was in a low hallway with lots and lots of doors, but they were all locked.
Well, how the heck am I supposed to get out of here? Hey, a key! Wonder which door it fits.
But alas for poor Alice, either the locks were too large or the key was too small. But at any rate, it would not fit any of them. It was then that Alice came upon a low curtain that she had just noticed.
You just put that there.
I know, work with me, will you?
Okay, I'll play along. Hey, where'd that come from?
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Behind the curtain was a little door, 15 inches high. Alice tried the key, and to her great delight, it fit.
All right, in I go.
Just a moment. The hallway behind it wasn't much bigger than a rat hole. Alice got on one knee, looked through, and saw the loveliest little garden.
Oh, I wish I was out of here and in there.
Alice went back to the table where she found the key, and on it was a little bottle. And on the bottle was a label that said, "Drink me," in large letters.
I wonder what this is. I'll check to make sure it's not marked poison.
She checked, and it was not marked poison, so Alice ventured to taste it. And finding it very nice, she soon finished it off.
Yum!
Suddenly, Alice began shrinking until she was only 10 inches high.
I'm not shrinking, you're just standing up higher than I am. Whoa, am I getting small now? Hey, now I can get into that garden!
But alas for Alice, when she got to the door, she discovered that she'd forgotten the little golden key. She went back to the table, but found she couldn't possibly reach it. Go look in the trunk. So she looked under the table, and she found a small box. Inside the small box was a small cake, and on the cake were written the words,
Eat me! Oh. If I eat it, and it makes me grow larger, I can get the key. But if I eat it and it makes me grow smaller, I can creep under the door. But either way, I'll get into that garden. And I don't care which happens.
Suddenly, Alice began growing. She kept on growing, opening out like the largest telescope that ever was until she was over 9 feet high. She immediately took up the key and went to the door. But poor Alice, now it was all she could do, lying down one side, to just look through the door, let alone actually fit through it. She began to cry. Gallons of tears came pouring out until she was surrounded by a pool, 4 inches deep and running halfway down the hall.
After a while, Alice heard a pattering of feet in the distance. She hastily dried her eyes and looked up to see the white rabbit.
Oh, the queen, the queen! Won't you be savage if I'm late? Oh!
If you please, sir. Dear. Everything is so weird today. And to think, yesterday went on just as usual. Let me think. Was I the same when I got up this morning? I almost think that I felt a little different.
Alice looked down and was quite surprised to see that she had put on one of the rabbit's little white gloves.
Well, how did that happen? I must be growing small again. Okay, this is getting boring. All of this growing and shrinking. Can we just move out to the garden?
Well, sure. We can skip ahead to the part where Alice meets the caterpillar on the mushroom. Now, Alice is still quite small, and she really wants to be her normal height. That's when she goes out into the garden, and she meets a caterpillar, sitting cross-legged on a mushroom. Who are you?
I hardly know at present, sir. At least I know who I was when I got up this morning, but I think I must have been changed several times since then.
I don't understand. Explain yourself.
Well, I can't explain myself, I'm afraid, sir, because I don't understand it myself. You see?
I don't see.
Well, I can't explain it any more clearly than that, because I don't understand it myself to begin with. And being so many different sizes in one day is terribly confusing.
It isn't.
Well, perhaps when you change into a chrysalis, you will someday, you know. And then after that, into a butterfly. I should think that you would find it a little queer, won't you?
Not a bit.
Well, perhaps you'll feel different. All I know is it would make me feel a little queer.
You? Who are you?
Well, I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Why?
Never mind.
Wait! Come back. I've something important to say. Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No. So you think you've changed, have you?
I'm afraid I am, sir. I can't remember things the way I used to, and I don't seem to stay the same size for 10 minutes together.
Can't remember what thing.
Well, I tried to say how dogs are little busy bees, but it came out all wrong.
Recite it.
How dogs a little crocodile improve his shining tail, and pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale. How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spreads his claws, and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws.
That is not said right.
Not quite right, I'm afraid.
It is wrong from beginning to end. What size do you want to be?
Well, I'm not particular as to the size. Only one doesn't like changing so often, you know?
I don't know. Are you content now?
Well, I must be a little bit larger, if you don't mind, sir. 3 inches is such a wretched height to be.
It is a very good height indeed. I'm exactly 3 inches high.
But I'm not used to it.
You'll grow used to it in time. One side will make you grow taller. The other side will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
Right. Now that we're growing and shrinking, can we just move on to the mad tea party?
Well, that's not what comes next.
Oh, but that's my favorite part! I mean, it's not nearly as boring as the rest of the book.
Do you remember who Alice meets right before that?
Yes! The Cheshire Cat!
That's right.
Could you please tell me which way to go from here, sir?
That depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
Well, I don't particularly care where.
Then it doesn't matter which way you go.
Just so long as I get somewhere.
Oh, you're bound to do that if you only walk long enough.
Tell me, what sort of people live around here?
In that direction lives a hatter. In that direction lives the March Hare. Visit either one you like. They're both mad.
Well, but I don't want to be among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. I'm mad, you're mad.
Well, how do you know I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't have come here.
How do you know you're mad?
Well, to begin with, a dog's not mad, you grant that?
I suppose so.
Now, you see, a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Me, I growl when I'm pleased and wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad.
I call it purring, not growling.
Call it what you like. Do you play croquet with the queen today?
Oh, I should like to very much, but I haven't been invited yet.
You'll see me there.
Well, I've seen a cat without a grin before, but never a grin without a cat. I've seen clashers before. The March hare would be much more interesting. And perhaps, since this is May, he won't be raving mad. Or at least not as mad as he is in March.
Well, it's getting late. I think we should skip ahead to the part with the queen.
But what about the mad tea party? That's my favorite part.
I thought you said you didn't like imagining things. I thought you said it was for babies.
Can we just get on with it?
All right, off you go to the tea party while I set up. So let's see. At the tea party, we have a March hare, and a hatter, and a dormouse. Oh, I need a dormouse. Who'd like to be a dormouse? You're really close. Will you come sit up here? Here's your teacup. Now the dormouse sleeps all the time. Can you pretend to be asleep? Let's see it. Oh, very good. Very good sleeper here. Okay. I think we're ready for our tea party. How about you? No room! No room!
Why, there's plenty of room.
Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
Well, then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
I didn't know it was your table. Besides, it's set for a great many more than 3.
Your hair wants cutting.
Oh! You should refrain from making rude remarks. Very rude.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean you think you can find out the answer?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
I do. At least I mean what I say, and that's the same thing.
Not the same thing a bit. Why, you just might as well say that I see what I eat is I eat what I see. Or, I like what I get is the same as I get what I like. Or, I breathe when I sleep is the same as I sleep when I breathe. It is the same thing with the dormouse. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong. I told you butter wouldn't suit the words. But it was the best butter. Yes, but you must have got some crumbs in as well. You shouldn't have put it in with the bread knife.
What a funny watch. It tells you the days of the week and not what o'clock it is.
Well, why should it? Does your watch tell you what year it is?
Well, no, but it stays the same year for ever so much longer together.
Which is exactly the case with mine.
I don't understand you.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, I give up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Well, I should think that you would find better things to do with your time than wasting it making up riddles that have no answer.
If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk of wasting it. It's a hymn. The March hare and I fought last March, right before he went mad. It was at the great concert given by the Queen of Hearts, and I was asked to sing. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the wood you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. You know the song, perhaps?
I've heard something like it.
Let's all try it together, shall we? Ready? Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the Okay? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you're at. Up above the world so high, like a tea tray in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you're at. Oh, that must be
Yes, well, it's time for me to be going.
Well, that's good, because now it's time for the trial
The trial?
of who stole the tarts.
The King and Queen of Hearts were already seated when Allison arrived. And a small crowd had begun to gather of all the birds and beasts.
Oh, let me hear your best bird and beast noises. Come on.
Can y'all make bird noises?
We need some birds and beasts to be our jury. So let's hear it again, only really loud. These are a lot of really good birds and beasts we have here today. But I think the birdiest and beastliest are this bunch right here. So all of you, you get to be the jury.
Now, the Knave of Hearts.
Oh, we need a knave. You look like a little knave. Do you want to help us out? No? All right, then you get to be the
Raise
knave.
your hand.
Have a seat.
The knave was sitting nearby in chains. Near the king.
Oh, we need a king. You will have a king in your left. Have a seat. We have a crown for the king. Yes, we do. There you are, your majesty.
Near the king was the white rabbit with a trumpet in one hand and a roll of parchment in the other.
Now, in the middle of the courtroom was a table. And on the table was a tray. And on the tray were some tarts. Alice saw the tarts, and it made her quite hungry to look at them.
I wish they'd get on with the trial and pass around the refreshments. Now, the judge, and over here is the jury box. They look awful busy. What are they doing?
Oh, they're writing down their names for fear that they should forget them before the end of the trial.
Now, I've heard some strange things today, but that's just plain weird.
Silence in the court! Herald, read the accusation! The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away. keep them to sell. I'm a hatter. Write that down. Anyway, Your Majesty, I hadn't yet begun my tea. What with the bread and the butter getting so thin, and the twinkling of the tea. The twinkling of the what? It began with the tea. Well, of course twinkling begins with a T. What do you take me for, dunce? But anyway, Your Majesty, I'm a poor man, and the March Hare said, I did not. Yes, you did. I deny it. He denied it. Leave out that part. Anyway, Your Majesty, I'm a very poor man. You're a very poor speaker. If that's all you have to say on the matter, you may stand down. Well, I can't go no lower, Your Majesty. I'm on the floor as it is. Then you may sit down. No, you may go. Take his head off outside. Call the next witness. Alice!
Here.
Now, what do you know of this business?
Nothing.
Nothing whatever.
Nothing whatever.
Well, that's very important. Unimportant, Your Majesty, means to say. Yes, of course, unimportant, that's what I meant. Jury, write that down.
Now, all this while, Alice was beginning to grow back to her normal height, which was considerably taller than anyone else in the courtroom.
Silence in the court! Rule number 42. Persons over a mile high must leave the courtroom.
I'm not a mile high.
Nearly 2 miles high.
Oh, well, I shan't go at any rate. Then besides, that's not a real rule. You made it up just now.
It's the oldest rule in the book.
Well, then it should be number 1.
Let the jury consider the verdict. No, Your Majesty, there's still more evidence to come yet. This piece of paper has just been picked up. What's in it? It appears to be a letter written by the prisoner to somebody. Well, it must have been written to somebody, unless it was written to nobody, which isn't usual, you know. Who's it directed to? It isn't directed to anyone. In fact, it's not a letter after all. It's a set of verses. Are they in the prisoner's handwriting? No, and that's the strangest thing about them. He must have imitated someone else's handwriting. Is that what you did, you scoundrel? Go on, answer the question. No, he won't talk. That just proves his guilt. Oh,
There's nothing of the sort. Besides, you haven't even read them yet.
Well, you read them.
Where shall I begin?
Begin at the beginning, go on until the end, and then stop.
They told me you had been to her and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not stand. He sent them word I had not gone. We know it to be true. If she should push the matter on, what would become of you?
Don't you say a point like that, listening to you.
I gave her 1, they gave him 2. You gave us 3 or more. They all returned from him to you, so they were mine before.
That is not counting you to it.
If I or she should chance to be involved in this affair, he trusts to you to set them free, exactly as they were.
That makes any sense to you.
My notion was that you had been, before she had this fit, an obstacle that came between him, ourselves, and it.
Wait, what do we do, please, you know that?
Don't let him know she liked them best, for this must ever be a secret kept from all the rest between yourself and me.
Ooh! That's the most important piece of evidence we've heard yet.
If anyone can explain it.
But if there isn't any meaning in it, that saves a world of trouble as we need to try to find him. And going. Gotta pack my imaginary bags with my imaginary stuff. I've got an imaginary train to catch.
Where are you going?
Oh, off to find someone who's not too old to have an imaginary friend. Who knows lots of games,
Well,
keeps every secret,
I mean,
and can answer any question you can think of.
I'm sorry.
If you were, you'd issue a formal apology.